Hi, I'm Macy from the Charleston County Public Library, and thanks for watching this virtual program. September is Library Card Sign-Up Month, and your Charleston County Library card is the key to a wealth of information and resources for free. Of course, we have tons of books. We also have movies, telescopes, museum passes, and gaming tablets for kids. And your library card gives you access to tons of digital content, like ebooks, audiobooks, music, and magazine subscriptions, plus access to databases for professional development, learning a new language, and genealogy research. Your library card is available for free if you live in Charleston County. Just stop by your neighborhood branch with your proof of address and your ID. For more information, visit ccpl.org.
Hi everyone, it's Jennifer with CCPL's Tech Team, here to talk to you about one of my very favorite apps. It's Hoopla. So if you haven't used Hoopla before, today is the day for you to get involved. I have so many friends who love this app, who even outside of my library friends tell other people about it and really sing its praises all the time. So I know you're going to love it. And all of this is of course free with your CCPL library card. We've got great content like ebooks and audiobooks and TV shows and movies and comic books and what am I forgetting? Music, all sorts of things that you can get from Hoopla. Again, free with your library card. So I'm going to show you how to access all of those great things. I'm going to give you a little tour of it using my iPad. You can also use the computer, of course, but you might get a little more out of it if you're on a mobile device, especially when it comes to things like audiobooks that you might want to enjoy on the go. So starting with that, I have here on my iPad the Hoopla app. Of course, if you were just going to go through the website to use it, you could go to ccpl.org, scroll down to our digital content and get started from there. But I have the app already installed, and so if I simply just tap to open the app, there you go, brought to you by Charleston County Public Library. You're going to see here that it lands on a page called My Hoopla, and it shows me here what I already have checked out. So this is called the Dutch House. You can see there's an ebook there that I can enjoy, and it also says right above that you can borrow 13 more titles this month. Now typically you get 10 titles of any of that type of content per month. They've given us a few extra right now because of people being at home and parents trying to homeschool and virtual school and all those things that are going on. And so we have a little gift of a few more titles right now. Not sure when that will end. So to kind of get started to see what else is out there, you can see here at the bottom, there's My Hoopla, video, music, book, and just a general search. Now I'm going to start with book. If I tap there, you'll see that at the top, there's audiobooks, comics, ebooks. So right now it's loading some audiobook titles. And if you notice just down a little ways there on the page, we're seeing some popular titles right now for those audiobooks. So a simple scroll through will show even more titles. And of course I can keep going. It's going to keep generating more and more of those. You're going to see titles for adults, of course, but you'll also see some that are geared toward teens. I even saw, there it is, Laura Ingalls Wilder there. So some things maybe for our younger audience as well. Pete the Cat as well. So you'll see lots of different titles there as you just do a general popular kind of scroll through here for those audiobooks. Returning to the top, you will see you can also look at some recommended audiobooks. Now they're going to base that on what other people are reading, but also what you've checked out in the past. You'll see some different things there. And then we have some featured. So those are just a few that maybe they're pushing, trying to kind of get up toward the top so more people know that these titles are available. So those are some ways to look for audiobooks. Now you can also simply do a genre search. So looking with me up toward the top right corner, you'll see genres. If we tap there, it does say browse audiobooks. So if I did want to find something appropriate for children, you'll see children's is there, and then different genres like mystery and romance and self-help. You can go through though and look at all of the categories. They're alphabetical. And so if I just wanted something as broad as fiction, or as specific as cozy mysteries, I can choose from that list to get started. I'm a big fan of historical fiction, so if I tap there, I'll probably see some titles that either I've listened to before or maybe I would be interested in taking a look at here. So that is for an audiobook search. Now, if I come across one that was interesting to me, if I tap it, again, we're just talking about audiobooks here, you'll see some information about that title. This particular book is a 31-hour read or listen in this case. I can borrow that, but I do need to know that the title is available for 21 days after you borrow it. So we do have 3 weeks with each title. Now that's true for our books. You'll see that different categories of titles here have some different borrowing limits. But for ebooks, audiobooks, those sorts of things, you're going to have 21 days. So I can get more information about the book there before I choose to borrow it. I'm going to hold off for now. That's a pretty lengthy one. So I can simply go back and take a look at a few more. It's going to take just a second for those to load as we do that. All right, I'm going to go back up to the top. Now, if I go back, you can see still on that audiobook search here, and by our general kind of feature titles at this point, if I look at the top, I'm going to leave audiobooks for a second and take a peek at comics. Again, you will see popular, recommended, and featured for each of these. Now, I wish I knew more about comics. I'm not a big reader of these, and so I don't know a lot of these titles, but I know there are some really popular ones there. I just tapped on one here, and you can see how many pages and what it's rated and so forth. Probably wouldn't have chosen this one, but my finger got away from me there. So again, 21-day checkout for comic books too, and I can simply return to my search with that arrow in the top left corner and keep going from there. Okay, ebooks, very similar. Going to give that a tap. Again, we have popular, we have recommended, we have featured titles. We can look through those and just scroll through to see what we're interested in, or we can also do a more specific genre search if we wanted to kind of dig in to something that we know we would enjoy. So again, that list is very similar, but only for our ebooks this time. So if I choose something like computers, you can see I can have a subtopic here, subgenre, where I could go into computer literacy. That's sort of my cup of tea here. There we go. And so we see some great nonfiction titles now. And because it's an ebook, of course, the pictures are going to be helpful. The content's going to be a little different than just listening to it like you might enjoy with a book of fiction, or even some nonfiction there too, of course. So I could look through those, and any of these, of course, are our ebooks. So if I tap on one of these, just showing you again, 21-day loan period. And I can get some more information about how lengthy this is, only 16 pages, when it came out, 2008. So have to take that into consideration when you're talking about computer skills, those sorts of things. So if I decide that's not for me, maybe a little outdated, we can simply go back. All of these right there at your fingertips. You do have some sorting options. So if I want to tap sort right there, I can choose by title A to Z, and then I can tap in the background, and now that would be by title. I can also do by release date, and again, we've already mentioned that that would be probably appropriate in this case to make sure you're getting something perhaps a little bit more modern, a little more up to date when it comes to computer usage and things like that. So we can change that sort as well. If I go back, we're still on ebooks here. And you'll notice that there is a filter option in the top left. So if I tap filter, so when you tap on filter, you can also filter out, again, similar to our sort, different languages. You can say here children's titles only, exclude abridged titles. That might be important to you. And so we do have some options, filter options there that could be really helpful too. So I'm going to tap to make that go away, just kind of tapping outside of that little menu there. All right, now all of these were our books. Again, it could be audiobooks, comics, ebooks, and lots of different ways to find titles that you might really be interested in there. Of course, there's a general search too, and while we're talking about books, I'll go ahead and do that. If we tap search, You can see some trending searches, things that people really enjoy, or I can tap up in that search box and just put in an author. I can come up with anything that I might be interested in. Of course, if I start typing something like James Patterson, we can see if we have any titles for him. Gives a little biography there, and we can start seeing a few of his titles or titles that might include him in some way. Okay. Now, I haven't mentioned this, but unlike some of our other vendors for ebooks and audiobooks, if you see it here in the list, you never have to worry about holds. So if you see it, that means it is available right now, and you would be able to borrow it and go right ahead and start reading it when you're ready. Okay. If I find one of these that I'm interested in, I'm going to go to this one, cross the line. Just an 8-hour read there from 2016, 21-day borrow period, just like we've seen before. We can see this is part of that Alex Cross series there as well, part 24 of that. If you were interested in borrowing it, you simply tap borrow. Tells you again how long you can borrow it and that it is available for streaming and downloading if you are on a mobile device, and I can confirm that I'd like to borrow it. So that's going to go through. I can rate Hoopla if I'd like to. I'm going to say not now for right now. Now notice that the page has changed just a little bit. I have the option to play it right away, or I can go ahead and download it to my device. Now remember, if you play that content, that means that you may be using your own data, and those often are not unlimited plans. And so you could use a lot of data when you're streaming this kinds of content, an audiobook like this. And so it may be best to download it to your device, and that way you have access to it if you're on an airplane or if you're just in the car, anywhere that you might lose service, you would still have access to it. Even when that loan period ends, you would be able then to, it's just going to wipe it off of your device. You don't have to worry about that. So it will automatically return. You can see when my 21 days are up, but I can also return it early with no consequence, of course. You can just free that up. Now that doesn't give you any more titles that you can borrow for that month. It is still kind of looking at that 1 month period and knowing that right now you have those 15 titles that you can check out. So you're not buying back any more checkouts if you return it early, but you would just be able to do that and free that up for someone else perhaps. So we'll go back. Okay, that was just kind of a search there. And I put in a title, I put in an author's name, and so those titles popped up generally for ebooks and audiobooks because that's what he is known for. But we do have this other content available too. Let's take a look at video. If I tap video, really exciting here that you'll see at the top we're looking at movies. And so there are some great movies here provided by Hoopla. As I scroll through, you'll see that most of these weren't in the theaters all that recently, but they are going to be some feature films here, some kids titles, some things that are really interesting with well-known actors and actresses in them. So there's some good content here that you can find for movies. Now, if you found a movie that you'd like to watch and you tap on it, I'll tap on Emma here. Just notice the loan limit is very different. It is only for 3 days after you borrow it. So you'll have 3 days to finish up that movie and then it will return automatically. So, and that is going to be available for streaming and downloading again on those mobile devices only, okay, for downloading. So we're going to go back. There are also some television options. So traditionally these are going to be different series, so multiple episodes for these. If you take a look, you might notice a lot of these are some BBC content, some British television things here. There's Mr. Mercedes. I think that filmed in Charleston. Some different titles here, so a lot of really great things, some things that you might be interested in. Again, adult content, kids content, across the board there. And just like we've seen before, we certainly could go up to genres at the top. And as we're browsing television, we could say, I'm really interested in just children's. I just did that as an example, and that's going to change the content we're seeing. Okay, if I go back and go back up to genres, I could also say, I really want to see mysteries. And then they'll show me some television, some TV series there that are mysteries. Now, if I tap on one of these, you find one here, I'll do Vera. All right, it does show you the various episodes. This is for season 2 and the length of those. And just know that when you check those out or borrow those do count toward your 15 for the month individually. And so each episode is going to count as a checkout when it comes to these TV shows, okay? So we're going to go back, and we'll go back again to see our general television kind of titles there. Just like we saw with books earlier, if I return to the top, you're always going to have that popular, recommended, featured. I'll switch to featured to show you that. So that's another way to kind of look through and see maybe what other people are enjoying or what they think you might enjoy. So that's what we see on Hoopla for video. And lastly here we'll tap music as it comes down to that video, music, and book categories. So music's a lot of fun. They have a ton of for Broadway shows, the soundtracks from those. You'll see compilations here, Kids Bop and 80s Mixtape. I'm really interested in checking that one out. You have things as recent as, Taylor Swift's Lover. I'm not sure if her latest is out here on Hoopla yet. And some other compilations. So it's kind of interesting to kind of see what they have and what you might be able to go back and enjoy, things like the Carpenters, and so you could kind of go back and enjoy some older tunes as well. Now, if you were interested in any of these, when you tap, I think I chose just a now, that's what I call music. Notice that the titles are available for 7 days. So you have access to that album for 7 days, and you can download it for just that 1 week on a mobile device. You can see those different titles there. All right, now I'm going to go back, take a look at music. We don't have anything, before we were seeing different types of books, different types of video. Music is just music at the top. You do still have your filter options, your genre options, and that could be really helpful here. So if I only want to see country, then there we go. I'm seeing all the country I could ever hope for. Here we go in Hoopla, and then I can back out of that as well. And for anything that you happen to check out, when you open your app, it's going to return you to My Hoopla, which you'll see at the bottom there, My Hoopla. And so I had the Dutch House already checked out from earlier today. And then while we were looking together, I've checked out Cross the Line by James Patterson. So I can kind of return to either of those if I tap. This one I have not yet downloaded to my device, for instance, so I might come back and do that. And I can certainly play it for right now as well. You'll have different controls there as you're playing so that you can maybe speed it up, or you can, of course, go back and forward as needed. You can usually see the different chapters if you wanted to kind of see what's ahead as well. So you'll be able to check out all of that when you're looking at a book. But not getting too deep into the books themselves because there's so much other kinds of content here. I do want to show you here in the top right corner, that little kind of gear there that usually means settings. So if you come into your settings, just know that you can make some changes here if you ever need to. I came right into Hoopla because I already had an account and my device already knew it. But if I was not signed in, it would need me to create an account. It's going to ask for an email address. You're going to come up with a password. You're going to put in your library card as well, so it can make sure that you are associated with a library in good standing and would know what kind of services your particular library provides. So all of that is part of that, of creating sort of a profile with Hoopla, which is very easy to set up. And your app would walk you right through that. Just want to point out there is a kids mode right there at the top. So if you wanted to use this for your children or a classroom, you could switch to kids mode and know that the content is going to be, it says here, appropriate for kids who are up to 12 years of age, according to Hoopla. So there you go. So there are other settings you could take a look at and know how your account's going to work from there. I'm going to tap out of that. And now there you go. We're going to just leave it here at the My Hoopla page. I sure hope that you enjoyed that. If you, again, haven't used Hoopla before, I think it's going to become a favorite of yours for sure. If you have any trouble with Hoopla, you can certainly give the tech team a call at 843-805-6885, or you can call the phone center too, 843-805-6930. Our reference department or our tech team staff will all be happy to help you get started with Hoopla or work your way around the app as best we can, okay? So we hope to see you in the library soon. We hope to be doing classes sometime soon and get you back in our doors. But we're really happy to be able to provide these services in the meantime. So we sure hope you enjoy it. See you soon.